What's
Love
up?
that. Not much. Just came off another phone call, so just lined up with
Gosh, you're so
Zoom all
popular.
day. No, it's not about me. It's more of listening to other people, but it is what it is. That's all you can really do now, I guess. So,
Yeah.
no complaints. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of
Who was the
technology.
who was the call with, if you don't mind me asking?
This morning it was a Cantox call, so it Cantox is sorry, I'm going to put my phone on silent. It's the charity that gave me like money last year to compete for the Olympics, but now that the Olympics aren't a thing, it ultimately they support I think it's like 80% of the athletes off of Team Canada who go to the Olympics. So
Wow, that's
they've done a
amazing.
large part for me financially. So they host these calls every day at 11 my time
Mm.
with like post Olympians, people training for the Olympics, like people who've received these funds. And I actually did one a few months ago. So it's cool to just connect with other people on Team Canada, especially throughout this time, because it's like there's so much you can relate within like two separate sports, but like we're all going through the same thing right now. So I think that's super cool to just hear other people's stories.
Yeah, isn't it wild that you can grow up idolizing certain people who have like been in the Olympics and it's like they have it all, but at the end of the day, it's like still a grind and trying to make
Yep.
ends meet
It's
and
not
then
glorious at all.
right?
No. Mm-mm. Nope. Everyone thinks it is. It is not. I wish I could say that for like louder for the people in the back. It's not glorious, and it's worth it. In the end of At the end of the day, it's worth it. But it's not this like luxurious life that all these big time football players, hockey players, like people who get paid a bunch of money. It's not that. But you get to represent your country at the end of the day, which I think is pretty special.
Yeah, well, you're part of an elite group of people, which is like, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like going to the World Series, being part of that team. Only certain people get to experience that. And I've talked with a lot of like past Olympians about the experience of just being um, there at the Olympics. And I think that's probably when it really sinks in, like all the training that you've been
I'm
doing.
excited to feel it.
Yeah, for those
Yeah.
5 games.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? You train for 12 years for 5 games. It's crazy. Very crazy.
So just kind of opening up the conversation about being an Olympian. You recently joined Athletes Unlimited, and I see you got a website going. What are some of the different things that you're involved in to try to make this whole dream work for you?
Well, I actually, up until February, I had a full-time job at Lululemon. So again, playing softball, there's not a lot of financial opportunity within that. So to make ends meet, pay rent, all of that stuff, I had to have a full-time job. I'm not a mom by any means, but I was definitely struggling with my finances, and I'm very independent in that way. I don't have a lot of support from my family. Um, like sport wise, I have a ton of support, but just like I've been on my own pretty much with finances and all of that. So finding a way to make ends meet with a job. I'm again with Can Talks, just listening every day to people sharing their story and whatnot, because Can Fund is a huge part of my Olympic journey. They provide monetary support for me. I tried putting a fundraiser together for me. Again, it goes towards things that a lot of people have support from their family with, and I don't. So I'm just really trying to make ends meet, like you said. But I'm also involved with Athletes Unlimited, which I'm really excited about. It's this new opportunity that I'm sure everyone listening knows about, but it's a really good way for us to spread the sport and to try to grow the game. Obviously, with what's happening now in the NPF isn't working per se, so it's just kind of a new way to put the game out there. try to involve fans as much as we can. I mean, the support of our sport is huge, and with the World Series, obviously, sorry, there's a bug. There's so much support with the World Series, but then it just drops off after college. So there's some sort of a void. And I think that that Athletes Unlimited will be kind of the glue to connect the fans post college with all these of their favorite players. So I'm really excited for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind sharing your NPF experience?
Yeah, so I in 2017 I was drafted second overall to the Akron Racers. I came off of a pretty emotional season. Being at Minnesota in 2017, a lot of stuff happened in the postseason to us. We didn't get to host. We kind of got sent to a hard regional in general, and then I mean I could go on, and I'm not going to talk about that. Clearly, I'm not over it.
Yeah, sounds still pretty
it
fresh.
Was heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you can call it what it was. It was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of bullshit.
You said it, not me. But I mean, it was pretty sad because it just, not saying like we still had to win, but we just weren't set up to win, and we weren't set up for success. And I think a lot of people who have played college softball knows how important that postseason is and the way that it's set up. So we weren't set up for success by any means. So it came off of that season just being like an emotional wreck. I had pitched a bunch of innings. I was just tired, and to go from one set of rules in college, and then I was also playing with the national team at this point too. So I made an agreement where I would play both. So I kind of traveled back and forth. So going from college with one set of rules to the national team with another set of rules to pro where there's not a lot of rules at all, like you're just kind of figuring it out on your own. I was just like all over the place. And to be honest, that was like one of the worst seasons that I've had with the national team. I had a terrible season in the pro league. Like I thought it just wasn't for me. It was just a lot of softball and a lot of traveling. I was going through like a rocky time in the relationship I was in. It just like was a terrible experience. So I came out of that summer with obviously a super sour taste in my mouth about the pro league. And I wanted to play the following year, but I knew that I had to kind of be committed to one thing. I was being pulled in too many different directions.
Yeah, so not only that, sorry to interrupt you.
It's all good.
But you just you didn't get a proper ending to a storied career, and not time to grieve many losses, not just like the loss of being able to play for Minnesota, but like a dream that you had is gone. And then you basically get like what, a week and a half turn around and
I had like 7 days.
Yeah, pack up your shit
like, okay,
and
come to Akron. I'm like, okay, sounds good. And I think you said it. I didn't get to really experience all those emotions, all those feelings, and then just being like sent off to Akron, Ohio, where I mean that team, I think we were last, like we didn't win a lot, and it was just like a mess. So it was just a mess. I explained that season as a mess. It was not fun. But yeah, I'm grateful for I've learned so much from that season. I still talk about it in general, not just in the pro league, but just in general. That year was shit. So just coming back the next season, and then actually in 2018, that's when I got sick. So it's like, what else can go wrong, kind of thing. But so 2018, I focused mainly on the national team because I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna try to help my team qualify for the Olympics, I got to be full in, like all in with this team. And the pro league can wait. Like I can play pro softball after the Olympics is done, if I would hope. But yeah, so I went all in with the national team, and that's kind of how it went. And then I came back, I guess last season in 2019 with the Wild. We were lucky enough to partner with NPF with the national team. So we were based out of Marion, and at first, like when you hear that you're going to a small town like that, you're like, oh my goodness, like come on, why couldn't it be in like California or somewhere where you want to spend a lot of time? But I am so grateful that we got sent to that city because it was perfect. The support was unreal. We The way we were received was awesome. It felt very family oriented, like just super awesome. And they knew what they were doing. They had already run a baseball club out of their facility, so they knew exactly what they were doing. Fan support was unreal, like I said, and we enjoyed our time. And unfortunately, this year we're not going. We're not going to be playing, but I think it's what's best for our team and for the safety of our team. And softball can be put on hold. Like we can always come back to the game when everything's ready. So it sucks that I don't get another year in the NPF, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't really control what's going on in the world, and unfortunately, none of us can. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of changes, your former pitching coach, Coach Piper Ritter, just got hired on as the Minnesota head coach. What do you think about that hire, and what can you tell me about your time working with Coach Ritter?
I think she's just one of the smartest people in the game. I didn't really know what like good pitch calling was until I experienced what Coach Ritter was. And I think when I look back now at my college experience, I think one of the coolest things about her that she did with me was she knew what I needed as a pitcher. So it wasn't every pitcher was prescribed the same thing. It was, okay, Sara needs this, 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 like other pitchers need that, that, that. Like it was different for everyone. And I think that's something I've learned as a player, that if I do end up coaching, that's what I'm going to do. Like everyone is so different, and the way they receive information can be so different. So she knew I was very visual. So she brought a lot of video to my bullpens and, this is what you're doing. You need to fix this. And she would like show me what I was doing because that's how I process information. So she's just so intelligent, just puts in so much time. And I'm sure a lot of coaches do, but she just loves the game. And then I think with Minnesota, this was a super smart hire because she's an alum. She wants to be in Minnesota. She loves that program. Like there's no one, you're not going to find anyone who loves that program more than Coach Ritter. And I think it's super awesome to keep that within the program. There have been several coaching changes and she has still been here. So yeah, it's her first time being a head coach in a college program, but I have no doubt that she'll be able to perform the way that she needs to. I fully support that decision.
Thinking back to your time at Minnesota, you had a really great pitcher in front of you, Sarah Moulton, and then you're kind of in a pitcher sandwich between Sarah Moulton and Amber Pfizer, like all great lines of pitchers. What did you kind of like, taking yourself out of the picture and watching Coach Ritter coach you guys in the bullpen, what makes her such a strong pitching coach in the way that she's able to kind of communicate with you? I know you mentioned like the differences,
Yeah,
but like what did you see that she communicated to the other pitchers and you're like, wow?
I think I'm pretty sure it was her who said this, but like Sarah Moulton only had 2 pitches, yet she was like an All-American caliber pitcher. She had a fastball, drop ball, and a changeup. Like to have 2 pitches and to be that successful, like is unreal in itself. So I think she had mentioned, would you rather be like a master or like, yeah, a master of 3 or a jack of all trades and be average? Like I think she knew that I or whoever she was working with wanted to be great. So regardless of how many pitches you come in with, she really wanted to focus on getting 2 or 3 like just absolutely unreal. So I think like I've kind of passed this along to lessons that I do. A lot of kids get wrapped up in well, I throw 7 pitches, and it's like, do you really throw 7 pitches? Like I don't even throw 7 pitches. Like come on. So I think she kind of made it so I could hone in on my 3 pitches. I threw 3 pitches. And yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful for that, because I don't think I would have the change up that I do without her help, saying how important it was to just get that as a good pitch. So yeah, super grateful for that.
Did you come in throwing 3 pitches, or did you come in throwing more?
I remember when I first got, I think I threw like 5. Like I threw a rise ball in high school, and I came in, and when you first got there, she like broke everything down. So we started at spins, and like for me, that was a foreign concept. Like I literally always had just thrown off the mound, and like my lessons were always off a mound. I never had to like do Ks and all that stuff. That is like fundamentally what you do now, like to learn how to throw. So like I was always lucky where I had somewhat decent mechanics. And I think that was a huge reason why I got recruited. I was just raw. I like wasn't the best player, and I can fully admit that. But I think Coach Alistair and Coach Ritter and Coach Merchant saw the potential in me. Anyway, so we broke down these pitches, and I was supposed to do like a spinner drill with like the puck
Yeah.
for a rise ball. I like couldn't get the rise for the life of me, the spin for it. I couldn't get the like straight puck, and I was getting so frustrated. And I just remember her being like, "Okay, let's not do it." I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean let's not do it?" And she's like, "No, look, let's move on to your next pitch." And I was like, "Okay." And then we like from that moment on, we didn't really like touch my rise. I think it was kind of just like very unspoken, like, okay, like if your screwball's working, your screwball's working. And it's funny because a lot of people think I throw a rise ball. I don't. I'm like working on it still, but I don't like go into the game being like, I need to throw my rise ball. It's just like my screwball that I can climb the ladder with. And I think that's a testament to Coach Ritter making sure I can spot my screwball, like breaking down those 3 pitches and being the master of it. So I think it's really funny when people think I'm a rise ball pitcher, because I'm not, but I'll take the full credit for it. Like, thank you.
Oh, that's hilarious. You know, I had an earlier conversation about hitters, and you can't cookie cut a hitter and prescribe them the same routine, drills, what have you, when it comes to training. And I feel like pitching's a lot of the same way. And I think what makes kind of like what you're saying so unique, and what makes Coach Ritter so good, is she can identify like those strengths in you, and then just you guys just kind of take those few things instead of all these things, and then you're able to just
Run with it.
Yeah, totally. And you believe in it too, because you're seeing the result. I'm good at this. And
Totally.
and you stick with it. That's awesome. Do you have any funny stories with Coach Ritter that you can tell us?
Um, she's one of the most, like, she's one of the funniest people I know. Like, just super dorky and just weird, but like she owns it and she knows it. But I don't know why this one sticks out, and it doesn't have anything to do with me, but we were Nikki Anderson, who was a pitcher, she was a year older than me, was throwing or doing like conditioning in her bullpen or whatever, and the rest of us were meeting or doing infield work or something like at the other end of the indoor, and they were like at half, and she was holding the band for Nikki, doing like jumping from her, like, I don't know, she just had a band where like she was standing behind Nikki and she was doing her windup or whatever, or running. I can't remember what it was, but Coach Ritter let go of the band on accident, and all you hear is like the loud snap of the band hitting Nikki's like back or leg or whatever, and Nikki just falls to the ground and goes, "Ah, Coach Ritter!" And she's just like, "Sorry, like, my bad." And like obviously the whole huddle of us at the other end, we like turned around and was like, "What was that?" And it's super like that. I don't know why that story sticks out, but it's just like she's just like that. She's super corny and weird, and she wouldn't have it any other way. She owns it, which I respect 100%.
That's funny. A question about your bullpen. Do you use any kind of constraints while you train or pitch?
Constraints meaning
Meaning, some people use the Bosu ball to strengthen.
like equipment or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like basically objects that are visual to help your body get into these certain positions.
Yeah. I think in college I had like unlimited resources, so we played around with that a lot. It's hard when you're here training by yourself and you find it hard to, or you're struggling to find a catcher to catch you, let alone these things to help you in your bullpen. So for me, like, I thrive on adaptability. Like, I'm very adaptable, so I don't need like a certain thing to do every day. Like, I don't need a routine. I've never been a routine person, just because I know, like, sometimes you won't have that and you need to get over it real quick. And so in terms of that kind of stuff, no. Visually, I like draw lines, because that's all I really like. I can always draw a line with my foot in the dirt, like, hello. So I draw lines like that, like in terms of my power line, where I want to step on each pitch, stuff like that. I know Coach Lombardi, I really want to try this. When I was at Oklahoma, she had these, like, they were like half moon balls with spiky things on it. And for her pitchers, she made them do spins with that stuff. I really want to try that. I haven't found one. I haven't really thought of it until now, once you like brought that up. So maybe I'll look on Amazon, but I think
you're welcome.
that kind of stuff is super cool. Yeah, thanks. Got to work on my spins now.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of gadgets in the bullpen. What do you love about Minnesota? I think a lot of people don't know that it's actually a gem of a city, and you got to experience it for 4+ years. What did you love about the city? And I'm assuming you're not there right now, right?
No.
And what do you
I'm
miss?
In Canada.
Yeah.
So it's funny, I didn't even know what Minnesota was until I got recruited there. Like, I knew all the West Coast states because I'd played in them or whatever, but like Minnesota, I'm like, who is Minnesota? Like, I remember seeing Coach Allister's like maroon jacket, and I was like, who's that? Like, who's Minnesota? So I like did my research, and like I ended up on campus for my visit. And I know a lot of people said that they had like that moment where they felt at home on campus. I didn't have that, but for me, I felt at home with like the community aspect. So the girls on the team, I felt at home with. The athletic department, like, it was just like such a community. And Minnesota itself, like, is beautiful. There are so many lakes. Like, I know that they tried to recruit me, or like an info piece was like more than like
1,000.
10,000 lakes, but like
10,000.
the lake shore, like the amount of shoreline is the equivalent of California or something like that. And they're like, because they did corny stuff like that with me. But yeah, it's just beautiful, and it's so unknown. The Twin Cities area, I think, super beautiful, and you can go like an hour out of the city, and Duluth is super beautiful. There's so many beautiful things about the state, but for me, it just felt like such a community, and like within the whole athletic department too, super good fan base. Like, I miss all my friends who are still there. Like, the alumni support is huge with the people I played with, but yeah, I just miss the people. Like, it's super lame to say, but because you can find people anywhere, but the people in Minnesota are pretty special, so I miss them. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the alumni support?
Yeah, so we still, like, in terms of alumni that I played with, we still like talk pretty much on a weekly basis. Like, if it's not about them, they're like asking updates for other people. There are so many different people in our group that are doing awesome things. We have a few nurses, so we're like keeping in contact with them, thanking them. People going to grad school, people doing huge job changes. So it's, like I said, a huge community, and we're still connected. But I think the love of the program and what we helped create and build on is what brought us together and what keeps us together. So it's really cool celebrating the teams now and last year and the year before, because that's what they like, especially the people older than me, they laid that groundwork. I just helped build on it. So I think it's super cool to be able to look back with those people that helped build it and be like, hey, we had a part in that, you know? So I think it's super special to be a part of a program like that. Obviously, we're pretty jealous of the fact they went to the World Series, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I mean, I would like to say that I helped create some sort of an impact at that program, and hopefully it still continues to this day.
Yeah, you did okay. I'm just messing with you. What club team did you play for?
So I played for so in Canada we have club. We don't have high school softball.
Mm-hmm.
So I played for the White Rock Renegades, which is a pretty like successful base team, I guess. But then I actually played on an American travel team, the Northwest Sidewinders, and that was for like a brief stint. Like I would do a few travel tournaments with them, and that's actually how I got recruited.
Very cool. Yeah, I've worked a couple of camps in Canada, all through Rob. I'm like blanking on his last name right now, but the second one,
what province?
Alberta. It was
okay.
Alberta.
Yeah. If it was someone in BC, I'd probably know. Were you with Kim Wright? Maybe she does a camp out there.
Kim did the summer one, which I did.
Yeah.
With Saling, and who else was there? Lappin was there. Steph Best.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany McKinney.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a fun year. We actually, Lappin and I talked her into staying longer to do the drive through the ice fields. Have you done that drive?
No.
What?
No,
Sarah.
I'm from Canada, but I haven't experienced like any Canada things. Like Lake Louise, never been. I want to go, but yeah, I know. It's crazy, hey? It's like in my backyard and I haven't gone.
Sarah.
It's really sad.
Come on. It is like
I know.
One of the most beautiful like places on earth. Like it was incredible.
I believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, Lappin and I, we wrapped up that camp and then we drove to Banff, and then the ice field stretches from like Banff to Jasper across BC. Oh man, incredible. Bucket list.
10 out of 10 recommend. Got it.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to shame you.
It's okay.
You don't deserve it.
I want to experience these things. I just can't. So, because, you know, softball, but I'll be able to one day. I can put it on hold till then.
Tell me about your quarantine. How's it going? What have you been doing? Have you developed any new skills outside of softball?
It's been a roller coaster of emotions. I can tell you that. So I think we're like 8 weeks in now. So about 8 weeks, 7-8 weeks. The first few weeks I was like thriving because I'm very independent, very like I can stick to myself and I'll be fine. At least what I thought I was. But I've actually moved 3 times since the start of quarantine because I don't have an apartment here or like a place to stay because I stopped renting, assuming that I wouldn't be here till
you thought you were going to be
September, right? So I don't have a place to live here. So I originally was like on my sister's couch surfing because I was supposed to be in Fresno like on the 13th of March or 20th of March, sorry. So that was my plan, to be with my sister, hang out for a little bit and go to California. That didn't happen. And so I had to figure out like, okay, I don't want to sleep on the couch for who knows how long. So I actually ended up in a teammate's aunt's house, who I'm really close with her family anyway, so it wasn't weird, but they were actually in between houses, so that this was like their old house. And so I stayed there till they closed it, and then was on the island, Vancouver Island, staying with my uncle in his basement suite. And now I'm here in Kelowna, which is where my mom lives. But I couldn't get to Kelowna because you have to have snow tires on your car because it's up in the mountains until I think May 1st was like the first day you could drive the Coquihalla Highway, which is like really, really scary to drive in the winter. So initially I was like, oh, I'll go to my mom's, but then I couldn't drive. So that was like where the couch surfing came into play. And then, yeah, so that was a roller coaster in itself. But then just emotionally, like finding out that this is all happening, college softball getting canceled, it was like kind of creeping in, like, what's going to happen to us? Like, how is this going to affect our team? You know, it's kind of wild to think about, like the Olympics getting canceled. But so the day before we found out that Team Canada was like pulling out of the Olympics, I was like, something's going to happen this week. I feel it, like, because it was like, I think 2 days after the college, like all of college sports got canceled. So I think when Canada first made the announcement, which we found out like 5 minutes before that the huge announcement went off, I can't label what I was feeling. It was relief almost, because you don't want to be sent into like somewhere dangerous throughout all this. But then also it's like, well, if the Olympics is still on, this was your chance to go and you're not allowed going anymore. Like, sorry, like to see other countries go and compete would have been devastating. But I think Canada was, you know, the trailblazer in that movement of, you know, we're a big country and we have a lot of teams going and a lot of players going, athletes. So I think when Canada took the stand, that's kind of when the snowball started of, you know, I think Australia 20 minutes later was like, we're not going. So I'm super proud to be from a country who makes big decisions like that, but I think it was scary and so unknown. And then, yeah, so after that, Coach Smith, our coach, was like, okay, take these like 2 weeks to just be a like human being for the first time in your life. Don't worry about softball. Don't do anything softball. And I was like, okay, like sounds good to me. Like I was 100% okay with that, because training gets very overwhelming, whether people can admit it or not. Like it is a huge thing that you have going on in your life. But at this point, like it's a lifestyle and that's your choice. At the end of the day, like you're here because you want to be and you choose to be. You don't have to be here. But it gets overwhelming. So I was not excited to be done with it, but I was okay with the fact that we didn't have softball. And then when I moved to the island, which was about a month ago, that's kind of when I like felt the decline and the like identity crisis. Like I play softball, but now I don't play softball. Like who am I? Like all that cliche stuff. And I was alone this whole time. Like a lot of people are living with their significant others or their sisters or brothers or family, and I've been alone this whole time. So I think that was starting to catch up with me too. So I really made, like, I was staying up super late, waking up really late. Like I didn't really have any structure of my day. And I think that's kind of a lesson I've learned is like it or not, I said I'm adaptable and I am extremely adaptable, but I think I needed that routine and a structure to my day. Like I need to be able to have like wake up at a certain time so I can be productive. So for me, it was waking up at whatever 9, let's say. I love sleeping in, so I just 9 probably sounds really late to some people, but for me it's like that's early. So waking up at 9, making coffee, listening to podcasts, Can Talks are every day at 11. So it's just making sure that I do something, and then from then just that, especially listening to Olympians talk. I mean, you can't be nothing but inspired after it. So I think it's a good way to start my morning, and it's made me super motivated. And now I'm here. I'm able to be outside. It's beautiful here. Our training program started again about a month ago. So it's roller coaster. It is a roller coaster, but you know, everyone's going through it. Everyone's going through the same thing. It's all unprecedented. No one's ever done it before. So the way I'm feeling and the way I'm navigating it is completely fair. And, you know, I need to trust my ability and my training and my timeline. So I think the way I'm going through it is going to be different than some of my teammates, but again, that's completely okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all experience these things differently, and it's okay. Embrace it. I haven't learned anything new. I want to learn. I actually, a few months or weeks ago, I asked, like, what should I do during quarantine? Because I was trying to just connect with somebody because I was alone. And I had like 10 people say I need to learn a new language. So I want to learn Dutch. I think I'm going to try doing that because my last name is very Dutch. My family's very Dutch. Like a lot of my aunts and uncles can speak it. So I'm like, okay, let's try.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are some programs where you can do it for free right now. So I'm going to look into that too.
Very cool. Have you been to the Netherlands?
Yes. So in 2014, we played Worlds there. And I think, what city was it?
Enschede?
No, Harlem, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we played Worlds there, and it was so cool. We actually, so again, lots of my family's there, and I had a crowd of like 20, 30 people all there
Wow.
to see me who I had never met before, but they're like, go Sarah. Like, I found a picture the other day because there's a bunch of photo albums here, but it was the picture of that, and it was really cool. And like looking back now, that's something that I wish I could re-experience, because at the time I'm like, I think I was a sophomore in college at that time, so I was super young, naive, like I didn't know what any of that meant. I was just like, oh, people are here to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But like looking back, like that's my family. Like they came from hours away to see me, and they don't even know me. Like that's cool.
Yeah,
So
that's very cool.
yeah.
Did you go to Amsterdam?
We got to go downtown like once, very briefly. We're
Oh,
very like business. Like we
you
don't
got to
really
go
have
back
I know. I
when
put a lot
when
of,
it's like safe, you know.
yeah.
It's such a cool city.
Have you been? Obviously, you've obviously
Mm-hmm.
been.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
I really love walking around cities, like just like put the headphones on and it's like I'm in my own movie, you know, walking through the city. And the city is
Good
just so
soundtrack.
yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
city is so like picturesque. There's canals and then cobblestone roads, and they've got great art museums. Like people are super chill there, and it's diverse. I really like it. I like that they have like old bookstores because I like wandering through those. But it's just like a really, really beautiful city. It's one of my favorites that I've been to.
Definitely on my list.
Yeah, I would go back many times. Like if I like, it would be a dream just to have like a summer place there, just to hang out for like a few months. And then everybody rides bikes there.
Yep.
I think when I first went there, I was really expecting the city to be kind of like seedy and because you hear all the stories, right? Because you got the red light district. And
there's like the sketchy parts of it, but I mean, every city has that, right? So
yeah. But it's like so clean. Like so clean.
And people are just so friendly there, and
so friendly.
they're very well rehearsed in English, so it's not hard to navigate. People are willing to help you. They like kind of know what you're saying, they think. And it's just, yeah, it's fun. It's easy to get around for sure.
Yeah, great city.
Did you go in the summer or the winter?
Summer.
Yeah.
Both times. Yeah. And then I went to some like a smaller town outside of Amsterdam that was really pretty. I mean, it's got like those idyllic like windmills and like the flowers.
Probably the tulips, yeah.
Yeah. It's just so
big iconic things in Dutch history,
yeah. Dutch is a tough one.
And it's like gnarly.
Yeah. If you haven't done Audible yet, if they have some really good language books. I've downloaded a few.
Tried it. I'll have to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm not really good with keeping up with them. My Spanish has actually gotten okay, but I have German on there and I think French. I haven't even touched the French
Dang,
one.
good for you.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, don't not speaking it on
He
a
has
daily
all
basis.
these books, but
Yeah, exactly. It's just so I can brag about it that I have them, but I don't speak them. Just kidding. All right. Growing up, did you have like did you have a favorite pitcher? I know it's kind of it's different like growing up playing softball. Because I feel like most of us my experience wasn't growing up and being like, yeah, I want to be Lisa Fernandez. But did you have
yeah,
that
same with
experience?
me. No, I really didn't. I think now it's really cool too because players are all over ESPN and people have these people to look up to, like visibility wise. For us, we don't get ESPN in Canada. We don't get to watch college softball. Like, it's really just not a thing, and I wish it was. Yeah, for me, I didn't really have that player that a lot of people do. I think I knew who Jenny Finch was because I watched The Apprentice with my family and she was on the celebrity one or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think for me, the visibility I had was the Canada Cup tournament. So Team USA, Team Canada, they all played like 5 minutes away from my house growing up, which I thought was really, really cool. And looking back, like super grateful for that too. Just being able to watch these people play
Mm-hmm.
kind of inspired me, I guess. But I didn't have like one specific player. I yeah, I feel weird saying that out loud, but I just like I didn't.
It's
I
okay.
just knew I wanted to be good. I didn't have anyone to look up to in that way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
real.
think in terms of yeah, we for me at least, like I had a lot of friends and like people I knew who got pulled up for the Canada Cup to play on Team Canada. So I thought that was really cool. And I feel like that kind of inspired me. Like one of my teammates, Jocelyn Cater, she was a year older than me. She got to play for the national team when she was like 16. So I was like, I want to do that. So just like things like that kind of inspired me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What a cool tournament.
It
I
is. Have you played in it?
Yeah, when I was in high school, we traveled up twice for it. Like we spaced out a year, and
Yeah.
it was so fun. Um, there was, uh, I mean, I have some of my favorite memories from club ball, going to
Hmm.
the Canada Cup, just playing Italy and the Chinese Taipei team. Um, and then we snuck into a warp tour while we were
Really?
yeah.
That's awesome. Wait, that's
we're,
so awesome.
yeah, we're like,
Was it
fuck it,
in
let's do
Vancouver?
this. What's that?
Was it in Vancouver? The
Yeah.
Warp Tour?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it
That's
was like,
awesome.
yeah, it was, I mean, it's so cool. You're surrounded by trees and people are like
Yeah.
skateboarding and there's like music going. We thought we were so cool. Um,
Probably
but
like 16-year-olds like, yeah.
yeah, we snuck in. And then the other thing I remember about Canada Cup is the donuts.
Mr. Ken's Donuts, they're legendary. My coach, Coach Merchant, she's at Stanford now, but I think she either played or recruited there, or she was with Team USA maybe. I don't know. Or the Breakheads. She was playing at the tournament at some point, and she brought up the donuts as well. It's a very big thing that people can connect on, and Sam Fisher and I talk about it on a very frequent basis for sure.
Gosh, they're
So,
delicious.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did you know that they give free bags for home runs?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get any. I didn't hit any over.
And I actually went up to them once and I was like, what about pitchers? Like, come on, Ken. And he was like, okay, if you throw a no-hitter, then you get a bag of donuts. What do you think I did?
Yeah, exactly. You dangle the carrot.
Yeah. Come on. Ken's got to know better than that.
That's funny. So I played against Coach Merchant in the World Series. They beat us. And then I played against Coach Alistair in club.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Dang, in
and
club.
I
Ooh.
know. I remember thinking that she was so good behind the plate. And then one of my teammates ended up going to Stanford, Lauren Lappin. It's just funny how everyone's connected. Yeah.
Totally.
Speaking of like just different generations, being on Team Canada, there's like so many different generations of softball players. What's it like being in kind of within the spectrum of different softball players like you are?
Yeah, I think that's something pretty unique about our team. It's very like the range is very wide, I guess. I think Lauren Bay, I don't want to age her, but I think she's 38, maybe 39. Like,
Oh my gosh,
and
yeah.
then we have
She was at Oklahoma State when I was at Texas. She was so good. Like, Lauren
totally.
Bay was the shit in college.
And then we have Morgan Rackle, who's 21. So it's like there's such a huge range of people. And I think for me, at least, like I came onto the team in 2013, and trying to think of who, like Rafter was on the team that year and stuff. But it's cool to see like how age doesn't matter. In my opinion, that's how I feel, at least. Like age is just a number. And I've always kind of had that attitude, I guess. But in terms of our team, like you can be a leader regardless of your age, and you know we do have a wide range of ages, but the cool thing is there's always something you can learn from like every player on the team. So yeah, it's cool to have all this like veteran experience. We have 4 players who've been to the Olympics before, and you know they're trying again to get there, but I think it's cool because you can learn something from everyone. And very unique in the sense of, you know, we're all willing to be a leader without the captain label, I guess. Yeah.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I think Baby by Justin Bieber. Anything Justin Bieber. Yeah.
Going
I think
with
I did Vanilla
crowd
Ice.
Pleaser.
The Ice Ice Baby in college was my like freshman bus ride karaoke. But
do you know all the words?
I would like to think so, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's a few like like mumbles.
Yeah. Ad libs.
Gotta fake it till you make it. Yeah.
What book are you most likely to gift?
That is a great question. I think I've recently talked about The Energy Bus like very often in terms of like quarantine. Just it gives a lot of opportunity for you to like shift your perspective. And I don't know, I feel like with younger softball players, that's like a super easy read for me, and so I know that would be easy for them. I don't personally like reading, so it's like really good to give people an easy read so they can get through it and process all the information. So yeah, Energy Bus, we just read one called Relentless Optimism, which I really liked as well. It was pretty easy. But most of the books I like are like they try to shift your perspective and, you know, try to bring more gratitude into your life. So I would say those two for sure.
Do you have any favorite podcasts that you like to recommend?
I have been asking people this question too. Like, I don't know. I can't find of any like specific ones.
What do you like?
Because I in a podcast, I'm looking for like motivation and like inspiration. I'm not looking for like conversation. I guess it's pretty bad to say that right now on this show, but like for me,
thanks, this is over.
Yeah. But like for me, I usually listen to podcasts when I'm like on the bike or I'm on the treadmill, like I'm working out. So I don't want to like just hear people talk. That's what the radio's for, in my opinion. So I don't know. I've tried listening to the Oprah one. Yeah, there's like a few. Nothing has stuck out to me, so I'm really trying to find my podcast still. So if you know any good ones.
Well, I think if you're looking for like going down the motivational route, anything with Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I like Tony Robbins.
Yeah, there you go. Gary Vaynerchuk is another one. He's like intense and is a grinder, go-getter, has created several
Yeah.
businesses. He's kind of like
I love Brene Brown too, but I don't
yeah.
know if she has one. I haven't looked yet.
She
have a
does. I
podcast?
actually just recently listened to one that I really liked. It was about, let me look at it real quick, just so I can give you. It's called, her podcast is called Unlocking Us. And the last two podcasts I really liked. They're based on how to apologize.
Oh,
and why it
yes.
matters. And there was like some really like light bulb moments for me in terms of what I do when I think I'm apologizing.
Like blanketing and all that.
Yeah, just like overtaking a conversation, because that's what I learned from my mom. You know, when you're apologizing, but somehow you turn the story into something about you. And like, I don't want to do that anymore. So working that out. Yeah, I'm working that out.
You're trying.
Yeah, those are some good podcasts.
Sweet.
Yeah, the Oprah one, he got a little sleepy sometimes. But yeah, anything with Tony Robbins is good. I'm trying to think of any more that I listen to. I listen to just, I guess, I really love Esther Perel.
I don't know what that is or who that is, I guess.
She's a therapist.
Got it.
But she has two different podcasts. One is about relationships and work, and then the other is about romantic and familial relationships. And she'll you get a glimpse into her live sessions, like with people. So it's kind of interesting how she kind of navigates through that.
No, I like that one too. You'll have to text me all these because I haven't written them down.
Okay.
But I'll check them out.
For sure. For people who want to follow you and your career, where should they go?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, like every social media is Sara Grow, at Sara Grow, but I also have a website that kind of updates, like it's kind of a background story of me. I don't post on it too often, but pretty much any social media I'm on quite frequently and updating all my peeps. So yeah, it's at Sara Grow. You can follow me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me and taking time out of your day. I know.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And hopefully, quarantine continues to improve and you're able to go out and about and meet with your peeps.
You too.
All right, Sarah.